Imagine being told that you'll never become successful. Imagine growing up poor, being bullied, being judged, being told that you're not smart enough, strong enough, or good enough. Most people would accept that story. David Goggins refused to. Before the world knew his name, David Goggins was living a life he hated. He was overweight, working a dead-end job, eating junk food every day, and deep inside, he knew he was wasting his potential. One day he looked in the mirror, and he didn't like what he saw. Not because of his appearance, but because he realized he was becoming someone he never wanted to be. That moment changed everything. Most people wait for motivation. David Goggins chose discipline. He set a goal that seemed impossible, to become a Navy SEAL. There was only one problem. He was nearly 300 pounds, far from being physically prepared. Most people would have called it impossible. Goggins called it a challenge. He began training every single day. The workouts were brutal. The pain was intense. The progress was slow, but he kept going. While other people slept, he trained. While other people relaxed, he worked. While other people made excuses, he pushed harder. In just a few months, he lost more than 100 pounds, a transformation that most people thought was impossible. But the physical transformation was only the beginning. David Goggins understood something powerful. The body gives up long before the mind does. He believed that most people only use a small percentage of their true potential. When things become difficult, they quit. Not because they have to, but because they've convinced themselves they can't continue. Goggins refused to believe that lie. He developed what he calls mental toughness, the ability to keep moving forward when everything inside you wants to stop. He went through Navy SEAL training, one of the hardest military programs in the world, a place where most people quit, a place designed to break people. Yet Goggins kept showing up again and again, through pain, through exhaustion, through setbacks, because he had learned a lesson that changed his life. Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. After becoming a Navy SEAL, most people would have been satisfied. Not David Goggins. He wanted to see how far the human mind could go. He began running ultramarathons, races so extreme that most people couldn't even imagine them. 100-mile races, 200-mile races, events that pushed the human body to its absolute limits. There were times when his feet were covered in blisters, times when his bones were broken, times when every part of him wanted to stop, but he kept moving, one step at a time, because David Goggins wasn't competing against other people. He was competing against the voice inside his head that said, quit. And every time he refused to quit, he became stronger. One of his most famous ideas is called the accountability mirror. Every day, he forced himself to face the truth. No excuses, no lies, no blaming others, just honesty. Because growth begins when excuses end. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. David Goggins runs toward it, because he knows something most people never learn. Comfort creates weakness. Discomfort creates strength. Every challenge you avoid makes you weaker. Every challenge you face makes you stronger. Today, millions of people around the world are inspired by David Goggins. Not because he's perfect, not because he's superhuman, but because he proved what is possible when a person refuses to quit. His story isn't really about running, or military training, or breaking records. It's about becoming stronger than your excuses. It's about taking responsibility for your life. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it. David Goggins teaches us that we are capable of far more than we think, that our limits are often self-imposed, that growth happens when we embrace discomfort, and that discipline can transform an ordinary life into something extraordinary. So the next time life gets hard, the next time you feel like quitting, remember David Goggins. Remember the man who went from overweight and unhappy to one of the toughest individuals on the planet. And remember this, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you want to become great. Stay hard.